Spanish lesson 32, the past perfect. Adverbs. What is the past perfect? To form the past perfect in English, combine the auxiliary verb had with the past participle. For example, I had lived. We had explained everything to George. What is a compound tense? A compound tense is one which requires two verbs, the main verb and the auxiliary verb. The past perfect is a compound tense. I had lived. Main verb, lived. Auxiliary verb, had. We had explained everything to George. Main verb, written. Auxiliary verb, had. How do we form the past perfect in Spanish? In Spanish, the past perfect tense is formed by using the imperfect tense of the auxiliary verb, haber, and the past participle. Haber is conjugated in the imperfect as follows.
Había, habías, había, habíamos, habíais, habían.
We have already learned in previous lessons that the past participle is formed by dropping the infinitive ending and adding either ado or ido. Remember that some past participles are irregular. Let's conjugate the verb decir in the past perfect.
Había dicho.
I had said.
Habías dicho.
You had said.
Había dicho.
He had said.
Habíamos dicho.
We had said.
Habíais dicho.
You plural had said.
Habían dicho.
They had said. Adjectival use. When used as an adjective, the past participle changes to agree with the noun that it modifies. However, when used in the past perfect or the present perfect tenses, the past participle never changes. Past participle used as an adjective.
La clase está terminada.
The lesson is finished. Past participle used in the past perfect tense.
El profesor había terminado la clase.
The teacher had finished the lesson. When do we use the past perfect in Spanish? In Spanish, we use the past perfect to describe a past action that was completed prior to another past action. Expressions such as
Ya, antes, nunca, todavía,
and
después.
often signal the use of the past perfect because they indicate that one action was completed before another. For example,
Cuando llegamos a casa, la fiesta ya había acabado.
when we got to the house, the party had already finished. This notion of a past action being completed before another past action doesn't necessarily always need to be stated. It can be implied. Have a look at these examples.
Pedro se había despedido de todos antes de salir.
Stated. Pedro had said goodbye before leaving.
Pedro se había despedido de todos.
Implied. Pedro had said goodbye. Negation in the past perfect. Remember that the auxiliary verb and the past participle are never separated. To negate the sentence, add the word no before the conjugated form of haber. Look at these examples.
Lucía no había soñado nunca con esto.
Lucia had never dreamt of this.
Nosotros no habíamos estudiado antes del examen.
We had not studied before the exam. The position of object pronouns. Object pronouns are also placed immediately before the auxiliary verb. For example,
Pedro lo había pensado antes de tomar la decisión.
Pedro had thought about it before making the decision. To make this sentence negative, the word no is placed before the object pronoun, le.
Pablo no lo había pensado antes de tomar la decisión.
Pablo had not thought about it before making the decision. Forming questions in the past perfect. When forming questions in Spanish, the word order is different to the English equivalent. We form questions as follows.
¿Habían vuelto ya los hombres?
Had the men come back yet? Here is the same question in the negative form. Notice how the auxiliary verb and the past participle are not separated.
¿No habían vuelto ya los hombres?
Hadn't the men come back yet? The formation of adverbs. What is an adverb? An adverb is a word which describes verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. For example, she laughed immediately. Immediately describes how she laughed. How do we form adverbs in Spanish? There are two ways to form adverbs in Spanish. Most adverbs are formed by adding mente to the feminine singular form of the adjective. This ending corresponds to li in English. Adjective.
Rápido,
Feminine form.
rápida,
Adverb.
rápidamente,
English equivalent, quickly. Adjective.
fácil,
Feminine form.
fácil,
Adverb.
fácilmente,
English equivalent, easily. Adjective.
tranquilo,
Feminine form.
tranquila,
Adverb.
tranquilamente,
English equivalent, peacefully. Another way to form an adverb is to use the preposition con plus the singular form of the noun. For example,
afectivo,
emotional
afectivamente,
or
con afecto, fácil,
perfect
fácilmente,
or
con facilidad.
the use of two adverbs with the same verb. When two adverbs modify the same verb, only the second one uses the mente ending. Note that the first adverb is the same as the feminine singular form of the adjective.
Hortensia habla lenta y claramente.
Hortensia speaks slowly and clearly.
Ramón escribe hábil y rápidamente.
Ramon writes skillfully and quickly.